to a country like Pakistan, which is one of the most, as we all know in this room, one of the countries the most impacted by climate change, you realize the potential for catastrophic devastation for communities and for our countries as a whole. Over the weekend, there were over 100 deaths in the Midwestern United States as a result of tornadoes, which routinely do not happen or have not happened before at this time of year. A week and a half to 2 weeks ago, there was what was described as an atmospheric river of moisture that dumped on the lower mainland of British Columbia and Canada. More than a season's worth of rain got dumped in 3 days, which had a resulting impact of flooding the lower mainland, the Fraser Valley. These types of events are happening with greater and greater frequency. And so addressing the ecosystems, addressing the communities that live in them, and improving their resilience is so tremendously important. I wanted to say just a few words about what Canada took away from COP26 and what we might be looking for in the years to come. The Government of Canada was pleased with the outcome. We always are looking for more ambitious targets, but the countries that participated in COP were able to come to a number of very important decisions, which Canada participated in. From a Canadian government perspective, we have committed to an enhanced target of reducing emissions by 40% from 2005 levels to 2030. That still gives us some way to go, but it is an important commitment to make. We have also enshrined this target in law, which means that Canada has committed to achieve a net zero by 2050 through what we're calling the Canada Net Zero Emissions Accountability Act that binds future governments to continuing with this commitment. We've also doubled our international climate finance for developing countries, which my German colleague has also mentioned. We have cooperated with Germany in this particular initiative, and in particular to develop a climate finance delivery plan, which is to work with developing countries to meet their commitments to mobilize up to US $100 billion in climate finance annually between 2020 and 2025. Canada has also been working very closely with the UK as the chair of this past COP26 to promote something we are calling the Powering Past Coal Alliance, which began in March of last year, which has continued to build momentum. And at the COP26 summit, Canada and the UK welcomed 10 new members to the PPCA and laid the groundwork to double the climate finance for developing countries to move beyond coal. It's this delivery plan to do this which is so incredibly important, and it is to build trust and goodwill with the coal producing and coal using countries in order to move to a more sustainable and renewable source of power in the years to come. It's also important for countries in the developing world as they're moving towards sustainable power to take into account that a lot of green technologies and green power requires there to be predictable elements in climate. For example, one of the things that I'm constantly struck by, right at the moment in Pakistan, there is an overproduction, an oversupply of energy, but that this energy does not get to the communities that sometimes need it the most. Transmission in Pakistan is a significant issue, and significant losses of power happen as a result of an inefficient transmission system. Distribution to household is also inefficient and needs desperately increased investment. In the areas of northern Pakistan, the northern communities of Gilgit-Baltistan and Chitral, a lot of the power generation is dependent on hydropower, which is at its sort a renewable and a green source of energy generation, but hydropower is dependent on predictable access to water resources. It's difficult in the winter, rivers freeze, the production of power goes down significantly. In GB at the moment, there is significant power outages that happen in communities, which has downstream impacts on consumption of things like firewood, which increases the degradation of existing forest load. All of these elements have to be looked at in a systemic way, so to ensure that investments in some areas do not ultimately result in the degradation of other elements that are important to nature-based solutions, to the resilience of the environment and the resilience of communities. I will stop there for the moment. I know that there's a number of other panelists who need to speak. I look forward to the discussion, And I am really encouraged by the continuing attention to environmental issues that is paid here in Pakistan, and that it remains a core and central feature of the current government's priorities. Thank you very much.